Round 4 podcast, buy, hold, sell. Dor, we are back for another edition. Last week's buy, hold, sell, some contentious ones, but overall I think we went pretty good.
Very well, brother. Look, the main man, big pain Haas. Front of the...
Yeah, we're so impressive for saying buy pain Haas.
front cover. He went well. Firma went well as well. Look, Mazu didn't have the greatest. Starling got affected due to the blowout. Nicholson was great. Tamale was average. But look, some great holds as well. Ruben Garrick especially, 4 tries. Congratulations.
That was
Ruben.
a simple
that
one.
Was,
he cost me the round, but oh well.
Iongi. Brimson wasn't the greatest, but you never know now with this Kinney news. And then look, some solid sells. So yeah, it was a overall, Mick. It was a very good effort, I think.
Yeah, we've been pretty solid to start off, I'd say. Back to Haas, brother.
100%.
I just want to pose this to the listeners, viewers. Surely this is the highest average out of the first 3 rounds for a fantasy player.
It's got to be.
I'm trying to think of someone else who's just had a cooked start, but surely he's averaging 90.
Yeah, look, I don't know if there has been a better start rather than Payne Haas. He has just been absolutely phenomenal.
Get him in at all costs.
Yeah.
Actually, this is a good question to pose before we get into our buy, hold, sells. Cleary, concussion, cooked a lot of coaches that captained him. Would you sell Cleary to get in Payne Haas?
It's a good question, Mick.
It's a question of the week.
Yeah. Me personally, I just think Penrith have a really good run coming up. And as much as I'd like to get in Haas, I'd rather do it in other avenues. Very similar to what I said, I think, last week in terms of selling someone like Isaiah Yeo to get in Nathan Cleary. For me personally, I think I'd love to get in Payne Haas, but I would be doing it through selling some other players.
Yeah, so Payne Haas this week, 8.2% of coaches have brought him in, and Nathan Cleary has been sold by 12.64% of owners. So that sort of goes to show that people are thinking, I got to sell the fantasy goat to get this Payne Haas guy in, which we've never seen anything like this. So
no, as I said,
my perspective is Cleary's going to come back. He's obviously going to be an absolute keeper. He's going to fire next week. He's going to lose cash, sure.
Yeah, break even of 100.
Where's the logic in if you think next week that Cleary's going to get, if you go, I think he's going to get like 70, then shouldn't you be thinking, all right, I need that 70? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shouldn't you be prioritizing the points, not the cash loss? I know you're trying to get Payne Haas, but there's got to be other ways.
Yeah.
For example, last week, Fisher Harris had to go, unfortunately, to get Haas in.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I did. It's unfortunate, but it's just the way it is.
No, that's very fair. Look, he's priced, averaging 90.7, 949K, break even of 31 this week. Another Queensland derby against the Dolphins.
He could go. He could ton up again. Back-to-back tons.
He's going to get you at least like 60 and 70, but if he manages to get that try and with that line break.
I had him for first try scorer, about $50 odds.
It was, he's going to get you close to hundreds if he goes over for a meaty.
All right, I'll pose this to you now before we get into it. Ponga or maybe Connor Watson, both out this week. Would you sell them to Payne Haas? I think that's much closer. I really do.
No, not Ponga for me. Ponga, no. Watson, I think, Watson, I think there's more of a leaning towards because I just think that wing fullbacks, there's not really that many gun wing fullbacks.
Yeah.
And look, Ponga didn't have the greatest game last week, but Newcastle haven't won at the Gold Coast in 10 years, and you can't expect a Ponga to just consistently, bang out unbelievable scores. There's going to be a down week, and that was last week.
Both have peaked in price.
Yeah, so, I'm just thinking like, for example, like hookers, you've got like, Pates, Mamazoulis, you've got like plenty of options. Starling, Wade Egan. Well, he's a bit more expensive, but what I'm more trying to say is there's cheaper options that are doing very well. Whereas in that position, for example, like I've got Connor Watson in my hooker spot. So like for me, I could move him on for a Haas and not feel like I'm losing too much because of the cheapies in that hooker position are doing so well. So for me personally, I would be happy to move Connor Watson on for Haas.
It's more another thing you got to think about is you're doubling whatever Haas is getting because he's the set and forget captain.
Oh, 100%.
That's clear. So people got to factor that in as well.
I'm just thinking
without
from my
Haas,
own team.
you're thinking every week, do I go May, who's been eating obviously? Do I go someone else?
Yeah, I just think, in wing fullback, I've spoken to multiple people, whether it be DMs or ran into people at the football, and they've just told me
some fans do.
Yeah,
right?
and told me just like, their wing, their forwards are gun, but their wing fullbacks are dross, and like your Tamales and those type of guys, your Marky Marks.
I
your
got
Robbie
Marky
Toa.
Mark, Tamale, and Iongi as my back three.
Yeah,
That's
so
my priority.
those type of guys are they're getting around like between 20 to 40 points.
Yep.
Whereas someone like a Ponga, look, I just really think he's one. I'm holding Cleary and Ponga. I could be interested in maybe potentially. I think Watson's a hold, but I could, if I really want Haas, that would be the one that I would do, brother.
Yep. I'll let you get into the first buys of the week.
Oh, 100%, Mick.
There's plenty as always.
Oh,
I think this is like a 30 to 40 minute podcast.
Yeah, we go in
hopefully the
nice
listeners aren't complaining.
nice into depth, and provide the listeners and watchers with very.
Look, we could
very
do it
extensive.
we could just do a minute podcast and go get this guy, buy, hold, sell. But
No, that's that's not how it works.
it's content.
Yeah. All right. First cab off the rank, brother. Big JC, Jayden Campbell. 732K, brother. Half and wing fullback duel. 81 points last week. He was exceptional, averaging 63 and a half for the season, and a break even of 39. He's in 10% of teams, a bit of a pod option. And just, I know there's going to be some names that we're going to touch on, but look, with the loss of Keeney, for my team personally now, with him likely to be ruled out for the season, going off a few reports today, I'm definitely looking at JC this week.
5% of coaches are looking at him. They've traded him in, and I get it. He's literally doing everything for that team. Like last week, obviously got that 81 points. He kicked 550 meters.
Yep.
He's goal kicking.
Yep.
Is there concern that he may be moved to fullback? That's my only concern. But apart from that, I think out of all the fullbacks, it's going to be him and Ponga with the highest average.
Yeah. Well, this could segue into our one of our next players, Mick. I don't want to go to him yet, but the man that is replacing Keeney has done a job for the Gold Coast when he has got into that fullback position. And I really think that Des and the Titans are still looking as Brimson and Campbell as the future 6 and 7.
It's tough on the Titans. This was their year, and they've already lost a player.
I think it's more likely that Brimson could move to fullback than Campbell move to fullback. I just think
he's literally been doing cardio. He's been awful.
Yeah, Kieran Foran could, he's not back yet, but if he comes back and the man that we're going to talk about in a second, De Groot, doesn't really grasp that opportunity, I think there's a real chance that JC could go back to 6,
what's the
4
Titans
to
run
7.
like?
That is a good question.
I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, what I was just trying to say is that I think it could be, JC could go back to 6, Foran could go to 7, or Foran go to 6, JC stay at 7, and then Brimson moves back to fullback.
Yeah. Their run is Roosters, who were pretty poor last week, Dolphins, Dragons, Raiders, Cowboys. So very good run.
Good draw. Yep.
They won't be as good without Keeney, but it could just mean Jayden Campbell just has the rock the whole game.
Yeah. I don't think the Keeney absence should affect you. I think that the Titans really view Campbell as their half for the future.
He would have been a lot more teams if they didn't have the round 1 bye.
Yeah.
I think he was a great option straight away.
Yeah. Well, I YOLO'd it and sent it on Supercoach and got him in straight away. But I think I'm with you on that. I think a lot more teams would have had JC in their team if they played the round 1.
Now, Dor, Jaylen De Groot.
Yes, I am Groot.
I'm looking at his profile pic in the fantasy. Bit of aura about him.
Oh man,
I'd like to see a week though, me personally, just to see how he goes. It could be one of those things where they chuck him in, and then after a week they just go, you know what, we better put Brimson there.
Yeah. I think they'll give him a few weeks just because I don't think that they'd move Brimson back to fullback for anyone else. Like Carter Gordon could have
Well, he's cooked, unfortunately.
Yeah, with his back. Like he could have slotted into the halves. Foreign's also out. So I think De Groot's going to get a fair opportunity. I'm pretty sure.
It's 300K.
Yeah, 300K wing fullback, break even of 23. It's definitely a wait and see. Watch closely this week with De Groot, and if he goes really well, he could be a great option considering that run of games that you just said before, Mick. Some really good opposition.
Yeah, he's only started one game. He got 31 with a try.
And in that one game last year, clocked, I think, the third fastest speed in the NRL.
Well, there you go. It was against Knights in a 22-point loss.
Yeah.
So if they get a win, you never know.
Yeah. Look,
there's a lot of cheapy options that we'll get to.
300K, brother. Yeah.
If you need a winger fullback.
You can go in, but I'd easily just wait 1 week for me.
Yep. Next guy, my Red V, special player. Love the kid, Hamish Stewart. Yep. I like what I see. PPM-wise. I like his role, and I think he's earned the trust of Flanagan, even after, we've brought in Clemmer.
Well, yeah, that was the concern, Mick. Yep. I did say that on the TLT podcast yesterday, was saying there was some concern potentially with Hamish Stewart with the addition of David Clemmer coming in. But look, he's kept his spot on the bench, and they've dropped two middles. They've dropped Blake Laurie and Fatala Mariner.
Thank God.
So Egan...
Full respect to Blake Laurie, of course.
Yeah. Yes. Egan comes in on the bench as well for the Red V. Look,
42 and 44 off the bench. So there's no risk in terms of, he's only playing 30 minutes. He's churning out good scores, and he's going to at least increase in 70 to 100K.
Yeah, I said it yesterday, and I'll say it again today. He's the cheapie of the week, Hamish Stewart. I think
there you go.
I think
he's on board.
I'm on board in a big way. If I definitely need. Look, if I'm trying to get Haas or something, I'm going to have to get a cheapie in somewhere. So,
who said Dragons didn't have young talent?
Hamish Stewart, I think, -6 break even. Like you said, Mick, his PPM's great, averaging 43 points. His minutes are very good for someone priced at 300K, getting 40 to 45 minutes each game. He's going to get you around that in points. Considering there's a bit of a drop-off at the moment and a fair few people out, to have someone scoring around 40 points at 300K.
Oh, yeah, he's fine to be in year 17 this week. 100%. It's not ideal in future weeks, but...
Especially in a tough matchup, brother, as well, against the Storm. So I think it could really work.
A plug and play.
Oh, I like that.
While making some cash. Now, this next guy, I starred with Dor. He's been a delight.
Delightful.
It's Toby Couchman.
Yeah.
Another Red V superstar.
Yeah, 100%.
Now, it was late mail. He got pushed to the bench. I was very concerned. I was like, Shane, with respect, I said with respect a lot. Blake Laurie, he's just not that guy.
No, he's not that guy.
And it didn't matter because Toby Couchman played 60 minutes straight off the bench. What did he churn out? Was it a 57?
I'll let you know, brother. He's averaging 50. 60. He got 60 in round 2 against the Rabbits, and he got 58 in round 1 against the Bulldogs. He played 70 minutes in round 1 against the Doggies, and 62 minutes against Souths a couple of weeks ago.
The first week, there was a bit of injuries. We weren't really sure about the minutes. Now, I think, are you confident that it's 55, 60?
Yeah, I actually think that Toby Couchman's now the number one prop at the Red V. So I think he's the
future.
I think he's getting between 55 to 65 minutes every week.
I did see, take this with a grain of salt, good friend of the podcast, Ollie Potasnik.
Yes.
I don't know if this was it was a DM to Shade Flanagan, and it said, what are your minutes forecast for Toby Couchman? He said 50.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was edited or not, but
could have been.
That's a slight concern. If it's 50 minutes, still probably a buy because he'll churn out 50 points, but you want 60.
Yeah. Look, break even of 22, Mick. Look, if he can keep getting that, around 60, 65 minutes, he goes at basically better than a point a minute or around a point a minute. So you're going to get around that, and that means he's going to make a fair bit more money, probably push up to around 700K, I'd say.
Yeah. Pretty risk-free, I'd say.
And a great pod, only in 3.1% of teams.
Join me. It's now up to 3%.
Dual as well, middle
and
and
that's always
edge.
handy, yeah.
Yeah.
Next couple of guys, news coming out that Paseka torn Achilles.
Yep. Gone for the season.
Now, the first two people you think about there is probably Taukeiaho and Ethan Bullemor. Feed him, Bully.
That's it. NCOB Bullemor.
In terms of just who we think should get the more minutes, we think Bullemor deserves it.
He deserves it. Like, he has done a role for Manly every year.
Exactly. But we had to sort of see him in that role. Like, he got 2 tries on the weekend, scored well, but we're not so sure about if the minutes will be there, one, and what his output will be like.
I just think that unfortunately with Bully, because of his speed and everything, I feel like he's
so suited for that bench role.
Yeah, he's just fallen into that sort of like niche as that like impact player off the bench.
Volleyball's niche.
Yeah. Like quick.
He's also 481k.
Yes.
So would you rather get Bullemor or, get Couchman 100k more? It's like...
Or I just go a couple of 100k less and get Hamish Stewart.
Well, yeah.
But,
it's a simple one, I think.
Yeah, like you said, Mick, look, Taukeiaho...
Happy to be proven wrong.
Yeah, Taukeiaho got 39 points last week, break even of 28. He's in 0.8% of teams. Look, definitely like De Groot, I'd definitely be waiting and seeing what happens with Taukeiaho. And then, Bullemor, I'm with you, Mick. 481k. He got 51 points last week, break even of 15. But I just think he's just going to be that bench guy, unfortunately. Yeah. And I don't think he's going to get enough minutes to look. He could pound out another 50 this week. He could score another try with
Very
versing
Unreal
the Eels. So look, there is a chance, but I just don't think long-term wise that I think it's the right decision.
Taukeiaho, if there's a few injuries and he's given the tee, I'll have a look at him.
He gives it. Yeah,
he'll be kicking at about 50%, but there's no negatives for missing in fantasy. So
yeah. Should we move on to the next?
You move on to the next couple of
guys.
Yeah,
I was thinking we move on to who Manly are versing this week, brother, in the Parramatta Eels.
Insipid outfit.
Yes.
Asinine 10 and 11.
Yes. Look, they showed a bit of heart on the weekend, but unfortunately still couldn't get the job done against the Dogs.
That's the concerning thing is like they lifted for that game, and that's what they put out.
Yeah. Well, look, outside of one cheapie that we're going to talk about, the only players that I'd be even looking or potentially looking to get into my fantasy team is either Zach Lomax, who we haven't got here, and the other guy is Jermaine Hopgood.
Yeah.
Look, I said this a fair few times on this podcast. There is one man that I would only go near in that Parramatta forward pack with the rotation, the one man that is going to continuously get solid minutes and be the leader of that pack, and that is, Hopgood. He got 66 points.
Hop him.
Last week, break even of 49, priced at 727k, Mick. What are your thoughts? Don't you, I believe you own him. He played 56 minutes last week. His minutes have actually gone down since round one. So round one, he played 72 minutes, 64 minutes in round two, and then 56 minutes. But look, he's got above 45 points every game. So
he's just getting through his work. It's been he's been great, obviously.
He's coming back from
I was always going to
hold.
Well. I knew a few people were selling him. I was pretty confident that some offloads were coming, less errors, less missed tackles.
Yep.
It is a bit disappointing that the attack just isn't there, and that's not on him. He hasn't run over 100 metres last 2 weeks. They simply need Mitch Moses back for team improvement, and then he'll start getting those more damaging runs close to the line in the red zone.
Yeah, I really think that
if you want him as a buy, Jill, I don't see a problem with it.
No, neither do I. He'd be the one player, like I said, that I would get from the Eels. But, yeah, I really think that I know that they need Moses back, but look, Dylan Brown, I think, is ever since this contract and everything like that's come out, he has really gone into his shell. It's actually seen a few pundits come out and say Eels great Nathan Hindmarsh has come out and said that he would prefer if Dylan Brown was moved on now to give a youngster or something like that a real opportunity.
That combination with Dylan Brown, Sean Lane has been shot the last couple of years. It's just diabolical. Lane never gets good service there.
The only thing I can say, well, the only reason why I'm sort of slightly against it is just because Moses hasn't been there.
Yeah.
But by the time Moses comes back, respectfully, I think their season could be done. Like they could be like 0
and that's
7.
what I worry about with Hopgood, where in a few weeks, if they're, they haven't won a game,
but
they're losing by 30. They've got 20 minutes left. Why keep him on? It's gotten to the stage where he's cooked his back last year. Just put him on loan.
But at least
Let the boy cook somewhere else, like Harry Grant.
Look, he was at Penrith before he went to Parramatta, but and he probably would be definitely starting with Penrith with these, with Fisher Harris moving on and others. So look, yeah, for me, I like Hopgood, but yeah, I am concerned slightly about Parramatta. But look, there is a bit of goodness, I'd say, coming out of
Go on.
Out of the Eels with Kitione or
Kautoga? I feel it's Kautoga.
Oh, well, yeah, Kitione Kautoga.
Comment down below his pronunciation.
Yeah.
You actually need it. I think it's Kautoga.
Yeah. Yeah, I was more trying to get the full name, the Kitione Kautoga.
He's been doing a role.
Yeah, so 38 points last week, break even of 5. He's got dual with centre and edge, which is actually, pretty handy in 4.5% of teams at the moment. Look, he played 60 minutes in round 2 against the Tigers and look, 24 points. And then last week it was a lot better. Still had a fair few missed tackles, but he managed to get 38 points.
Is there concern about the new signing of Dylan Walker? Just into Dylan Walker, I heard some interesting rumours.
There is some rumours going around. Thanks, James Maloney.
Yeah, James Maloney just straight into the podcast with the professor.
Yeah. Oh, look.
I love how they're just old players like, yeah, heard this.
I just think with Parramatta, it seems like with Jason Riles, they seem to be looking to the future. They're playing a lot of young guys like your Bryce Cartwrights, your Madisons aren't finding their way into the team list week to week. So for me, I think that there is a chance that Kautoga or Kautoga could get an extended stint here in the second row for Parramatta.
So you think he's a good option?
I think he could be a good option. But
yeah, he's cheap as chips, and that duel's very handy.
Yeah, the duel's very handy. He's cheap as chips. But for me this week, I would be locking in Hamish Stewart over
That's
Kitione.
Fair. Look, if you need a centre and maybe like you're trying to get Haas in and you literally only have 280, he's definitely the number one
If he goes
guy.
well this week and he's still there, like starting second row.
Yeah, he's not going to
he probably would have
increased by 60, 70K.
In all seriousness, he probably would have played 80 minutes last week, but he got that HIA and had to come off there. Yeah. So, look, he definitely could be. For me, Hamish Stewart is my priority for a cheapie this week. And then I'd be looking at Kitione next week, Kautoga.
We better move on. We've talked about the Eels for a good 5 minutes there.
No, it's all right.
That happens.
It happens.
Shall we move on to another Dragon, Christian Tuipulotu?
Yeah, Tuipulotu.
Try scorer.
Yeah.
Loves his celebrations.
Oh, well,
Probably
they've
super coach buy over fantasy, I'd say, but he started well. Someone to look at, someone to talk about. What do you think?
Well, those celebrations have been put in the bin, unfortunately.
Brother, I didn't mind it. Bit of showmanship.
Yeah. Give me the money, Yeah,
was he saying that to the Dragons? Like,
no, I was thinking he was saying it to his maybe super coach and fantasy owners.
Get me in,
showing them he's making the money. Look, yeah, he's been great, Mick. 2 games, he's scored 74 with a hat trick against the Bulldogs, and he scored 1 try against the Rabbitohs 2 weeks ago and scored 57 points. Look, break even, very low break even of 4. Averaging 65.5 and in 2.6% of teams, but
they're versing the Storm.
Yeah, but the draw does, like, to his defense, the draw does open up a little bit after this week. They've got Parramatta next week, the Titans the week after. Manly's going to be a bit of a tough one, but then Roosters, Tigers, Warriors, and then a tough one against the Broncos in round 11. So
it's basically, do you think he's going to score every week? Is he going to score a double? if he doesn't get that
I
try
still think he
scoring
has,
points,
he
he
is
probably
still
isn't a
some
keeper
pretty-
the whole
he's
season.
not a keeper the whole season, but he does
He's
have
not cheap.
no,
It's
but
522.
he does have a solid base.
I'm
you
thinking
know.
about just as a Dragons fan, great to watch. He has gotten 13 tackle busts in 2
Like
games.
he's getting nearly 20 points just from run meters.
Yeah,
So
you're right.
he really works his backside off. Look, if you're looking for
Our,
someone with
our
a bit of
draw
upside,
opens up as well after this week.
that's what I was saying just before. I think that you want someone with a bit of upside. I think Tuipulotu is a great option.
Yep.
I think we should go the Roosters, brother.
Yeah.
Let's go the eastern suburbs and touch on Siua Wong and Mark Nawaqanitawase or Marky Mark. Look, what are your thoughts, brother? My concerns initially with Wong this week.
Just job security, isn't it?
It's more just minutes, I think. I think he could still start, but the return of Nat Butcher this week, brother, on the bench.
It's a coin toss, I reckon. I have no clue what.
Yeah, Wong could stay with the 80 and then Butcher spells Radley at lock. Yeah. I'm not really sure, but man, like 50, he's obviously a bit past a cheapie now. If you started with him, like hats off to you.
That's respect.
But look, 57 points last week, break even of 1. Edge played 80 minutes the last 2 weeks and 67 minutes in round 1. He's got 55 and 57 the last 2 weeks in his 80-minute stint. The biggest question is he going to be playing 80 now with some of these players coming back? So Nat Butcher's back.
I think it's a simple one. If you truly think he's playing 80, get him in, but we don't think he will.
No, I'm
So
concerned.
we're a bit concerned about that.
Yeah,
but
Nat
he's still got a
Butcher
lot of
back and
cash
then-
rises to make.
Yeah, and Ingram Butcher could be back too. And Marky
Yeah,
Mark.
I bought him, brother, last week.
Yeah.
Look, it was a late time to buy, but I simply need to wing a fullback and I need that duel.
Yeah, he's dual.
He-
Yep.
He's not disappointing anyone. Like 34, it's not great.
Well, it's
But
not.
their draw opens up, and he's only scored 1 try and 1 try assist so far this season.
And
You
last
expect
week was
that to improve.
Last week was a pretty dour game as well
Awful.
against the Warriors.
Tough watch.
So yeah,
And he
as
should
you
have scored a
said, Mick-
try if he could catch the ball off his own
Yes.
chip and
Yeah.
chase.
Yeah, I don't hate this one at all, Mick. Look, wing fullback center if you really need one this week.
Like it's not an exciting option, but it's a bit of a plug and play. Like I said before, it's
Yeah.
one where he could
I
probably
really don't hate
score
it.
40 this week against Gold Coast. That's probably safe.
Yeah.
And then that duel, he'll make another 50, 60K. And it's also one where there's a lot of winger fullbacks that are dropping in cash, like a Turbo, like a Walsh, who you might just be able to upgrade there.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mick. It's not going to be rapid money at the moment, but
Oh, no.
it's definitely going to be, a bit of money. And then with this draw opening up, then the cash could start to really flow. Let's move to the Red V's opposition this weekend, brother. We've got Ryan Papenhuyzen and Cameron Munster. I think we touched on them.
Yeah. We don't need to spend long on these two because we talked about it so much last week.
No, not at all, brother. 36 points for Papenhuyzen last week, break even of 33, 578K. Yeah, look, outside of maybe Marky Mark, I really think that Papenhuyzen could be an option. I know there are some reports floating around at the moment, brother, that he sustained a bit of an injury, Bellamy said at the back end of last week in that game against, the grand final rematch against Penrith. And it looks like he's trained well, he's running well, but he might not be goal kicking this weekend.
That is a bit of a worry because I was thinking about him. I need a winger fullback under 600K.
Yeah.
Their draw's pretty decent after this.
Yeah.
And it's also the Storm. They don't have Hughes, but I just think even without Hughes, they're going to be so dominant, and it also just means more rock for Pap. I wish he was goal kicking though. It's a bit frustrating.
Yeah. A tough matchup next week against Manly, but the rest of them until round 9 is, he should go really well.
Yeah. What happened last week? Like, do you think his injury was actually
I think
do you think it could be a
little-
laid out?
No, I don't think he'll be a laid out. Judging from the latest news, he's just not going to goal kick, which, will give you those extra.
His last
extra
30
few
minutes
points.
were terrible. He had
Yeah.
4 errors.
It's
It was just a shit Thursday
Pen-
night wet game.
Yeah, but Penrith really, it was like they dominated parts of the game. I don't want to get into too much of like the footy talk on terms of the Storm Panthers game, but I don't know. The Storm really weren't at their best. Like they were pretty diabolical last week.
Yeah, they were awful.
So I actually really don't mind it. I'm actually heavily weighing up getting Papenhuyzen just for this run and then potential goal kicking. He might not goal kick this week. Wishart might get the tee this week, but I'm sure Papenhuyzen will get it back next week if he gets through unscathed this week and against the Dragons. So yeah, I really don't mind Papenhuyzen. I'll certainly be having a good look at him. And look, Munster, just the same thing really. Look, only 32 points last week. Break-in of 49 this week, but I think now with the absence of Hughes, look, Wishart's a great player, but I think that Munster's going to have to be, the senior man, and he's going to step up in Hughes' absence. So I think that he should definitely get that break-even of 49 this week against the Red V.
A bit more kicking in play. I think 3 appearances in 2024 without Hughes. One, he only played 40 minutes, but he got 48 and a 62. I think he'll go fine.
Yeah.
I think there's probably more chance of points.
Yeah.
At least his base will improve as well.
All right. Let's segue into the last couple here of our buy segment of this buy, hold, sell for round 4. Mick, Adam Reynolds.
I was going to throw him with Nicho.
I was going to throw them together.
Yeah, if you're selling Cleary,
into the last
you should be getting Haas, but,
some
people want to do what they want to do.
Yeah, but it really depends as well, Mick. You might have unbelievable forward depth and you really need a good half and you want to sell Cleary.
Well, I'd go Nicho. That's me.
Nah, Reynolds for me.
I just think this is he does this every year. He has like a 4 game run where he just cooks. Not saying he's not going to continue it.
Yeah.
But injuries always a concern. Nicho looks great.
Injuries are a concern with Nicho Hynes as well. But for me, I just think it's
not as much.
Yeah, not as much. But for me, I think this is I don't know. I was tossing and turning, but from what I've seen thus far and how Adam Reynolds has been playing, like Mick said, there is concern with injuries. But for me, if I'm selling Cleary, I'm not even.
I just think there's
it's
very niche situation. There's not going to be many people who don't have Cleary. You've got Humphreys. You'd have like a Sanders Smith to plug in for this week. I just don't know if you want to be getting another half.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying if someone wants to sell
if the
Cleary,
situation is there.
Situation to sell Cleary, you want to sell Cleary, I'd prefer to go to Adam Reynolds than Nicho Hynes. Look, he's gone 85 points against the Cowboys.
Walsh has been so bad. He's just been taking control. I think Walsh is going to improve and get a lot of those points.
In what aspect?
Just like
because the Reynolds is getting.
I think
Reynolds is getting his.
It's pretty hypothetical, but I think Walsh they're going to start going when you get Walsh some confidence.
Yeah, but
Reynolds
passes the ball to Walsh.
Yeah, well, try assist worth 5.
Yeah, but Reynolds is getting all his try assists from kicks.
Mm-hmm.
You think about it. Last week he's scored a try and also set up multiple people.
I also think the
kicks.
Dolphins might show up this week.
Look, they definitely could. The Cowboys showed up last week, played their best game of the year, and Reynolds scored 85 points and was the second best player on the field. If it wasn't for Payne Haas, he probably would have been the best player on the field. I just think that the Broncos are looking really good. Adam Reynolds is really leading the side around the paddock, and I just think that this next couple of weeks, Dolphins, Tigers, Roosters, Warriors. That is just speaking big scores.
He's pretty safe. He's not going to go crap.
If the Broncos are scoring a lot of points and dominating, Adam Reynolds is going to get at least 50-plus points. I just think there's more of a flaw with Reynolds than there is to Nicho Hynes with the Braden Trindle.
I really
influence.
thought Ben Hunt would be more influential.
No.
Not that he's been bad or anything, but I just thought he'd be doing a bit more kicking.
I hope people listen to me at the start of the podcast and we can all enjoy Ben Hunt in round 10 once Ezra Mam
That is very true. He's the best hooker in the league.
Ben Hunt
said
goes
that
to
for
hooker.
Yonks. All right, Dor, let's just skim over these guys. Oh, the last one, Kayal Iro, safe. Just get him in if you want a gun centre. That's quite simple.
Yeah, I don't mind Iro. He's been great, but I'd prefer Bo Firma.
Yeah, that's fair. We'll move on to the holds.
Yep.
A lot of these guys are
There's a lot of holds.
ideal holds because there's just so many outs.
100%.
And then a few of them are easy trades to Haas, in my opinion. So AJ Brimson, ideally hold.
I'd give him one more week.
I'd give him one more week. We had our logic to why we were getting him. He's been literally awful.
He's just getting
You never know.
of
Jayden Campbell
a lot
could
of
go to
his
fullback
tackles.
or he could go to fullback. Either or will improve his scoring.
Yep.
You need your winger fullbacks this week. KP, top echelon, been cooking. One poor performance doesn't mean anything. Like every fullback has their bad performances.
Hold. Yep.
Hold. Connor Watson to Haas, get it.
Yep.
Otherwise, hold.
Hold,
Tommy
yep.
Gilbert. I sort of wanted him to go last week. He just had too many demerits last week. He played 80, but he missed like 6 tackles or
He
something.
went out to the edge and missed a lot of tackles
Yeah,
when he went out to the edge.
I think he's fine to hold this week, but maybe a trade in a couple of weeks if he's not going great, or maybe
I
next
think
week.
that we'll see how he goes this week, and then could be one to move next week.
Harry Grant, he had like 1 carry last week. I don't know what's going on. I think he's just trying to conserve his energy. If people sold him to like
Haas.
Peter Memezoulis, you didn't have Peter Memezoulis, and then got Haas somehow there, or you got like
I don't hate it.
you need to wing a fullback. I don't hate it. No,
It's what we said at the start, or I said at the start of this podcast, just saying that with that hooker situation, with there being some really good options around that 300-400K mark, Starling might be a bit higher now, but there's also, like I said, Pates, Mamazoulis, are great options there. So for me, him out of all these lists would be the biggest sell to me. Harry Grant would be, even with the
that's
draw.
fair. These next two, Cheapies, Iongi and Tamale, I personally need to hold them because I have no one else playing for me. Iongi I'd sell before Tamale.
I just think that Iongi was not
He was
bad
pretty
at all.
good.
He got 33, I think 33 points last week.
The Eels are just so bad. That's the problem. Like
And
they need
Raiders-
to.
Raiders just got starved of the ball. They had no ball.
Yeah.
So that's why Tamale didn't go very well, because it was like 75% possession in Manly's favour to fucking Canberra.
I only had like one
25.
chance where it was like a out the back play. He sealed the deal, got a try assist.
Yeah.
I just love to see him.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything
In an
wrong. It's
improved
just
Eels
because
outfit.
the Eels are just that bad.
He can be sold.
He
Like,
could
there's
be
no
sold.
issue
Yeah,
there.
no, he
And
could be
then-
sold, but I just hold. Hopefully
Yep.
with Moses, he starts to, straighten things up, and Iongi starts to benefit.
Lukey Metcalf, me and Cordless were never convinced at the start of the season. Like, we knew he'd be a decent option. We both got him. We weren't convinced. People were saying he's going to average 50. Went elite last week. Went elite 2 weeks ago. Crap last week.
You
I
give him
think
another chance.
I think he deserves another chance. Yeah.
Break even at 28. It's nothing too out of this world, Mick, and like a solid matchup against the Tigers. So
And a lot of people who have Cleary, they'll have Humphreys. That's just an easy one.
oh yeah, if you haven't got Humphreys, you're doing something seriously wrong.
If you don't have Humphreys, I'd actually just be like, yeah, you know what? This wasn't the year for me. Well, I'm 0-3 in my league, but I'm coming like 5,000th, which is all right.
235K.
I'm still
Mick
going.
Made 97K last week,
Yeah.
Mr. Humphreys.
He could be a
just-
all-time cash cow.
Oh, it's just beautiful.
He's almost, I'm not even going to say almost, he is a captaincy option.
He is a captaincy option. Yeah,
He's just gonna-
he's
He
averaging
got 40,
73
what did he get, 45 tackles? That's
Yeah.
genuinely absurd.
for a half. It's
Isn't that the
unbelievable.
most since like 2003 or something?
Oh, I don't know. There were a few.
2009?
There were a few records.
Don't quote me. Need random stat guy.
Yeah,
I think he actually posted that.
there was a few stats that got broken. Good old Cord's favorite, Mr. Sexton.
Most kick meters.
Yeah, most kick meters. Had
Bro's
over
booting it.
1,000 kick meters.
Yeah. The doggies forward pack was getting demolished.
Yeah.
Even though they won.
So yeah,
Johnny Bateman Dor. We're moving on to the cells now. After the first week, I was like, shit, might have missed one here. Played 80 minutes, got 57. Last 2 weeks, been abysmal, especially against the Broncos.
he wasn't
was
good
pretty
on the
poor.
weekend. No.
Do you think he'll improve, or do you sell him?
Yeah, I was with you on that, Mick. I was pretty high on Bateman. Didn't end up getting him, and was sort of spewing the first couple of weeks, or the first week, should I say? But then the last couple, he's sort of come back to earth. I wouldn't say it's an immediate sell, but the Cowboys have had a very tough start to the year draw wise, so that should start to open up a bit for them.
They They could improve.
Yeah, look,
this
if
week.
you want to sell him, sell him. For me, if I owned Bateman, I'd especially against Canberra this week, one of his old sides, I'd give him another week. But if you
is
want to go
Bateman to
Bateman,
Couchman sideways?
no, I think there's more upside with. There's a bit more of an upside trade, but yeah.
Talking about upside, this guy has none of it. Jack Goswetsky, see him, mate. You're gone.
He scored again.
Full respect to the guy.
He scored and got 21.
Yeah.
Yeah. The last
I think I said that last week. I said, what's his ceiling, boys? Like, what's his line for a score? And we were like, 20. And I said, oh, yeah, with the try. As a joke. No, genuinely.
No, yeah. And he's lost the minutes as well. He's only getting like around 20, 30 minutes now. Where
He's one of those,
in round one, it was a bit different. So for me, he's got to go.
He's the prototype Dragons back row of the last few years.
He's a perfect switch to either Hamish Stewart or Katonga.
Yeah.
So
I'll show you what PPM means.
Oh.
Now, the next guy, RTS, easy sell, did his hammy. Jerome Hughes, easy sell.
Really bad.
Keeney.
His head, hammy Mick, like major. Like he's going to be out.
It's like 10 weeks, isn't it?
like probably like 6 to 8 weeks, high grade hamstring. Yeah.
Hughes, yep. Keeney, not absolute cinema door.
No.
Diabolical.
Absolutely.
Could be the season. We get to know about that.
Yeah, it hasn't been officially. Yeah. There's a few people that have said that it's, NRL 9 Mole who does the, report and news and stuff for Channel 9.
I'd like that corroborated.
It's actually really sad because I was really looking forward to Keeney, and like you said, Mick, the Titans are really looking to play an exciting brand. I thought Keeney was excellent on the weekend, 47 points. But unfortunately, looks like he's really badly hurt his neck. So,
we forgot to talk about this guy. We could have put him in cells. Reece Walsh. I'm just thinking Keeney to Reece Walsh. I know he's going to lose like 30K. A lot of people are going to be selling him. I think he explodes over the next month.
Definitely.
I'm hoping because I'm going to buy next week, I reckon.
Definitely that, 100% could happen. Yeah. Look, he was awful. Respectfully, he was awful last week.
I don't think he could play worse, and he got 35. He's kicking in play.
I love Reece Walsh, but yes, like he was awful last week. And like you said, Mick, I actually just looked and saw that score, and I was like, crap, like he was awful last week and still got 36 points. I think that's a really good trade. Really,
that's
good
what
option.
I was talking about. I think the Broncos would be like, shit, we need to get this guy in some form. Adam Reynolds, early ball to Walsh, let him cook.
Yeah.
Walshy, stop overcomplicating it. Just run yourself.
Yeah, I think he's just down on confidence a bit. But like I said, it just takes one game.
I'm personally looking to get in Walsh next week and maybe think about like a Turbo maybe at a discount.
Yeah.
Just someone like that because I need something at fullbacks.
Yeah.
Dylan Lucas, sell. News came out. It was 6 weeks. Case McLean.
Yeah.
Sell. Didn't get his role. Bit disappointing. But I thought he was all right. But he's gone.
Yeah, a bit disappointing with Casey McLean, but it seems like he's a bit on the outer. He was great last week, Tom Jenkins. So look, he ended up playing fullback last week because Laurie was laid out, but Laurie's back. So then Jenkins has now taken McLean's centre spot, and unfortunately, to rub a bit of salt on the Casey McLean stuff, there has been rumours that he was going to be dropped the last couple of weeks. But then some injuries and stuff have come up and he's managed to keep his spot.
Yep.
Unfortunate for owners, but look, move him to, Katonga or Hamish Stewart or something like that. And look, I held Dylan Lucas last week, hoping to get some good news, but unfortunately got the worst news ever in the press conference after the game with O'Brien saying 6 weeks. So that makes our life easier. We said he was a hold last week, hoping for some better news. Didn't get the better news, so he is a sell. I like Bo Firma as a great option to replace him. Or if you want to just go completely downgrade, you can go to Kitione. Again, I've said his name a fair bit, but look, basement price, edge and center.
Yeah,
it's delicious.
He'll plug a roll.
Yeah.
That's about it. I'm not sure how long this went for.
What do you think, Mick? Just quickly, a lot of people always struggle with their captaincy options this week. We might as well plug a few. Look, I think you look no further than Payne Haas.
There's 2 choices. Well, there's 3 really. There's one, you captain Haas. There's 2, you buy him at all costs and captain him. And the third one is you just hope he gets injured or you try and just make up the
Well,
points
that's Haas.
elsewhere.
Like, not everyone, like, he's in nearly 40% of teams paying Haas, but
You got to get a way to get him in.
yeah. Well, look, Tyrrell May, we captained him last week. He got 70.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing wrong with him. Like, Adam Reynolds will be a great option. Mick said it. I know they got the Panthers this week, but
I think it's
Humphreys
I think
is still
it's
doing
just
well.
Pass then May.
No one else?
Nah.
No?
Maybe Yo.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I don't mind it. Yep.
I like we thought about Ponga last week, but that just goes to show like forwards are the guys, unless it's Cleary.
100%. Yep. Haas and May.
Maybe
either one of
Jayden
those.
Campbell. He's
Yeah,
like a
Jayden Campbell. That's a bit of
possible
a bit of a pot option, I think. Like a bit of looking for a bit of upside.
Yeah.
Upside there, Mick. Yeah. Easy choices there. Haas or May.
chuck
You
the
want a bit of
VC on
upside.
Toby Couchman.
All right. Yes. No. We'll see you all next week.
Yep.
I think that was a pretty good pod, Mick.
Yeah,
so
we churned out some stats and stuff for some players. It was good.
Yeah, make sure you like, follow, subscribe to the YouTube and the socials.
Smack that like button.
Yeah, look, love to plug it, love to plug all that sort of stuff. But yeah, look, without the support and whatnot,
We'd be
especially
nowhere.
with the YouTube, goes a long way. So, yep, we'll see you next week.
Catch up.